Go ahead and ask any reviewer out there, and I swear on my favorite pair of overworn briefs that they'll say that things like year-end, best of, and favorite lists are never easy to put together. And then when we do curate and present them, guess what? They'll still be haters. Now, here at GearUp in 2023 AD, I've been blessed with creating more connections with bigger brands, and that's been awesome. And this meant that I've been able to create more tests and reviews for tech products that cover the entire price range. But remember guys, this video is not about being the most exhaustive list. That would be impossible. It's products that I've been able to get my hands on and feel that they either been fantastic in their own class or are unique enough to break the mold, because, you know, guess what? Tech doesn't have to be same old, following all the trends, but can be exciting and groundbreaking at the same time. And I've talked enough here. The aim is to take about 30 seconds or less for each item on the list, so let's see if I can hit them. So let's go! Okay, first one on the list, the Sineaptic SE-1, the world's first Bluetooth ribbon driver headphone. 200 bucks. It's built like a Tonka truck knockoff, creaks more than like the halls of a geriatric care facility. But my goodness guys, Sineaptic got right the innards and the tuning. Like the amount of detail, retrieval, and composure this ribbon magnet setup can muster is simply amazing for anything under $1,000 And it's not just the SQ guys, there's just something about how ribbon harmonics, there's just nothing like you've ever heard before in any headphone. I don't think I can make this. If you've owned a ribbon like the wired RAL SR1 or the Gold Planar GL1200, you know what I'm talking about here. But if you can live with the real cheap build and the silly looks, you'll be in for a treat. We're not even past the second item, and I think we're gonna have to change the timer to a minute. Dang it. But anyways, this next one, it wasn't even on my draft list until the week of filming. From the moment I played my test tracks on the Focal Bathys, I knew it was going to be my favorite wireless ANC headphone for 2023, even though it was twice the price of mainstream units from Sony or Sennheiser or even the new Bose Quiet Comfort Ultras, because this French-made Bathys sounds like an untethered version of the Celeste and the Radeons, and if you've heard those, you know it's ooh la la. Now, bass is tight, smooth, and controlled, and it is purposefully emphasized on the Bathys, and it's a lot of fun. Mids are wonderfully controlled, and they transition nicely into some really spacious highs as well. Basically, everything gels together to make it the best sounding of the lot, in my opinion. So yes, the big name brands, they jam more tech into the Bluetooth flagships, but you buy this for the SQ, hands down. ANC, I'll give it a B+, A-. Battery life is mid-pack. Media controls could be better laid out. But the DAC mode and the phone call quality are also totally dope. The Edifier Stax Spirit S3. $300 basically gets you one of the most underrated Bluetooth semi-closed back planar magnetic headphones on sale today, guys. And it leverages aptX Adaptive, which is still my current favorite version of aptX, and planar mag drivers borrowed from Audeze. Yes, that Audeze, the same one that makes the LCD-X and all that. The S3 has neutral lows and mids with a little bit of sparkle added on top in the highs to keep things interesting. And I would dare say that with good source files, the entire package sounds easily something like nearly twice its price. Plus, if you run out of battery on this thing, it's a great excuse to use it wired. Why? Because it sounds even better wired. Crazy, right? The best wired headphone I've tested this year, hands down. And I know the LCD-X, even this 2021 update, has bones from an older, more ancient generation of high-end headphones when they were done differently, like tuning priorities were different, and so were things that we take for granted nowadays, like ergonomics and mod cons and all that. But thankfully, the update has basically future-proofed the LCD-X quite a lot. It still weighs a ton on your head and your neck, but the magnet array 30 seconds has been reworked, and the flawed mid-range that a lot of people complain about in the first gen has been tuned out for the most part, as well as we get a new head strap too. And what we're left with is a headphone that brings out so much detail and locationality that almost every track that you throw at it sounds amazing with composure and maturity you expect from something that costs way more. And some may find the high mids low treble a little bit too flat, but here's another cool thing about the LCD-X. It possesses plenty of headroom that makes it a joy to EQ. And oh, The carry case is seriously OP as well. Are you ready for the next one? So let's start this one again. Edifier came out with some really good stuff this year, especially in the headphone space. Probably two of my most viewed headphone videos I've reviewed this year are made by Edifier. I'm not sure if it's timing or viewer interest or what, but from what I've seen, the W840NB Plus and the WH950NB are good examples of underdogs that got tired of being in everybody else's shadow, like Soundcore shadow, Sony's budget line shadow, Soundcore shadow again. Basically, Edifier focused this year on upping its stakes 26 seconds in the basics, the SQ, the comfort, materials, features, and pricing. Both headphones were given like this new hallmark sound that makes them really sound relaxing and creamy, especially in the way they present vocals and mid-range content. Yes, 9 seconds left. My top pick for the most irresponsibly fun headphone goes to the Skullcandy Crusher ANC 2. The separate subwoofer, aka Crusher drivers in here, is improved from the last gen. It's more refined and punchier. Now, using these with movies, games, or bassy tracks is fantastic, guys. It's like being in a cinema, you know, with the whole exaggerated bass going through your body. It's the kind that you feel from the head down to your toes. It's pretty darn awesome. My other favorite bits are some of the best controls on a headphone ever. Things are like easy to find just by feel alone, even in the dark. And also, let's not forget one of the best or better app experiences out there besides the one from Soundcore. Hey, 17 seconds. And since we're on the topic of irresponsible fun, there are two IEMs that gave me plenty of tight, solid bass without turning everything else into a hot mess. The Thieaudio Hype 2 and the 7Hz Legato, they share neutral and creamy sonics. Very, very competent all around, and yet do not shy away from giving you more thump than you're used to hearing in a standard IEM. Both of these have fantastic build and presentation. I would say personally I prefer the case on the Legato and the design and the cable on the Hype 2. The Legato's bass and mids are a little bit darker, while the Hype 2 has like more neutral mids, sharper highs, and a stronger technical performance. One is $110 while the other is nearly 3 times the price, but I would say pick one and you'll be happy with either. Hey, 10 seconds. Actually, that's not very impressive. You ready for the next one? Let's do this. The time-honored Audio-Technica M50X is respected among studio professionals for its neutral sound, good price point, and tank-like build. Now, when the company dropped this Bluetooth version of the M50X, I was like, yeah, they're probably gonna screw the sound up by going wireless while making an excuse to raise the asking price, right? Well, fans didn't have to worry because the price really hasn't changed all that much. The detailed and effective mids and high ranges haven't changed either, although the bass floor has been raised just a smidge, and for the better in my opinion. And what's crazier, just like the Stax Spirit S3, is that the SQ sounds as good wireless as it does wired. Now, things to note when you're including the M50X BT2 in your research, if that's what you're shopping for, is it's very plasticky and it doesn't come with active noise cancellation, which on the plus side leads to a monster battery life. I don't know about you, but this is actually kind of fun racing against the clock here. But prior to this year, I hadn't had the opportunity of reviewing a Sivga. Then out of the blue, they called and asked if I'd like to try a Luan, and I said, sure. And so upon receiving the headphone, I unboxed it, then ran my first few test songs, and I had to double check the price. $300 for this? Surely my mind was playing tricks on me because something that sounded this good, looked this good, and also felt this comfortable in my head. This is one of the most comfortable headphones I've tested this year. Couldn't be more than $300. So I used it for a few more days, which turned into, at 30 seconds, turned into a few more weeks. And then I realized how hard it was to put down. Like lows and mids are smooth as butter and controlled, even if they're not the final say in detail. And since I last reviewed it though, the drivers have loosened up some. So like things like treble that I felt was too harsh initially, now feels slightly more relaxed. And also the craftsmanship and materials, the way they come together is just fantastic, but storage case included. The Super73 R-Brooklyn isn't going to be the fastest or cheapest e-bike for the money, but what I've learned during my time with it was it's all about the entire user experience, guys. From the ownership and the awesome cafe racer looks to the strong performance and the thumbs ups you get from anybody and everybody that you run into on the street, the R-Brooklyn is non-stop fun. It is solidly built to with one of the longest and cushiest seats than my butt deserves. Weak points, I would say steep hills have to be planned out in advance. The hydraulic brakes, they lack linearity from 60% up. The front push rods are non-adjustable. And say what you want to say, guys, anything that goes faster than 25 miles an hour, indicator light should be standard. And to me, completes the look of the traditional cafe racer. This next one came out of nowhere, guys, and surprised me by offering something I didn't think I needed until after I'd started using it for a few days. After which, I was like, I think Fiio just reinvented the desktop network DAC streamer with the R7. So the R7, what it is it's a headphone slash speaker amp streamer decoder for like MQA and SpeedDiff, among other things, digital turntable and media hub that's slapped into a compact, sexy metal skin. Besides solid inners that can power almost any hardware or file that you can throw at it, its audio output is clean and mostly bereft of trendy dips and bumps in the tuning. To me though, the coup de grace is the full-on Android 10 operating system on the 5-inch display. And sure, some of you can say Android 10 is old, but it's lightweight, and best of all, guys, you have access to any supported Android app out there, thanks to Google Play Store and Android's rather relaxed view on side loading APKs. Now, some of the early complaints of the R7, have been resolved, like with firmware updates, like system-wide EQ is available now, and also an app-based remote to try to make up for the fact that there is no physical remote included in the box. For a simpler beginner-level DAC amp setup, there's this thing right here, the 2nd gen Audioengine N22. $280 gets you a portable vertical case with 52 watts out per speaker, internal power supply, connectivity options like Bluetooth aptX HD, 3.5mm USB-C, RCA in-out speaker outs, and so simple a caveman could use it front panel, taken up by a single giant volume power knob. And guys, the audio quality is also a delight. Lows are tight and composed, vocals so engaging, and instruments in the upper mid-range have fantastic articulation. Kudos, Audioengine. If you desire an even cheaper DAC amp alternative, guys, you just can't go wrong with my favorite combo of the year, the Cheap Uncle approved iFi Audio Zenair Can and Zenair DAC stack. Hello, this is Cheap Uncle here, so what I say right now, you better pay attention, okay? So for under 200 of your hard-earned dollars, you get so selection of connection port. I know it's not a lot but you pay so little, why complain? You also get MQA rendering, double X space and power matching when you combine the Zen Can and DAC together like a transformer, And then they are so small, you can put them anywhere in your pants or your jacket. And also, if your friend have a set, you can also easily take it and put in your pocket. So subscribe down below if you like Cheap Uncle, what he say, okay? This year, my favorite power station has been the Geneverse HomePower 2 Pro, which has a giant 2200 watts of backup power in a back-breaking 30 kilogram case. Yeah, they call it portable, but it's only as long as you don't have to carry it too far from wherever you have it stored. But anyways, you can run things like 99% of your home appliances from days up to weeks, and honestly, that's just like most other similarly priced power stations can. But two things that really set the Geneverse apart is A, impressively fast charging speeds, particularly on its LFP batteries, and it's the same kind of batteries they use in mainstream electric cars like Teslas and such. And B, it has a secret ability as an uninterrupted power supply, otherwise known as a UPS. The owner manual doesn't say it, and I asked tech support about it. They say no, you can't use it that way. But this unit has something they call ACPS, or Automatic Continuous Power System, which works as a pass-through, guys. So like right now, I have my PC hooked up to the power station, but because I have ACPS on, power is drawn directly from the house, bypassing the battery. But when I disconnect the HomePower 2 from the wall, the switch over is so quick that my PC doesn't even miss a beat. The Eufy S120 is the atypical outdoor security camera. Not only is it disguised as a discreet, unassuming, modern-looking deck light, but it's completely self-sufficient in terms of power. As long as the solar panels on the top of the unit get like a few hours of UV rays per day, the camera and light can basically run indefinitely. It's a cinch to install, has decent resolution, wish it was 4K though, a very good night vision, an app that's also constantly evolving, and just as importantly, a fantastic price. And usually it goes for like $100, but right now I think it's $20 off on Amazon. Not sure how long that will last, but I'll link it down below just in case. We have 18 seconds left on this one. Yes. 2023 has been a good year for Soundcore. Lots of great products, and in some ways a return to form of offering quality and affordability at the same time. 3 products that stood out to me were the Space One, which for a third of the price of the XM5s and Momentum 4s of the world, offer impressive SQ, even more impressive active noise cancellation, plenty of features and customization options, and of course one of the best app experiences out there. And then there's the $80 Motion 300, arguably the best compact portable speaker that looks and feels more expensive than it actually is. IPX7 water dust resistance, has adaptive EQ based on the orientation of the speaker upright, resting on its back or whatever. And most importantly, it sounds fantastic from just 30 watts. Now the last Soundcore is the AeroFit Pro. There may be a handful of better sounding, better performing open air over-the-ear workout earbuds for sale right now, but the AeroFit Pro brings the best iteration of a convertible I've seen so far. 1 minute it's an over-the-ear, and the next you can wear it like more securely and quicker with its quick snap adjustable titanium neckband. It's like having basically a Shox Open Fit and an Open Run Pro for the price of one. In the category of fitness watches this year, the best could have been like a Galaxy Watch 6, a Garmin 265S, Apple Watch 9, or the Amazfit Cheetah Pro. But nope, my pick was and is the Pace 3 from Coros. Like the previous gen, it still rocks an LCD display, how quaint, and doesn't function like a smartwatch would. However, the Pace 3 is the most purpose-built training watch you can find right now, especially if you're a runner, cyclist, or triathlete. Coros made this watch faster now, more capable with Wi-Fi connectivity and dual frequency GNSS, SPO2. It has a touchscreen now too, more than 10 days of average real-world use, and yet they still managed to cram all of that in a feather-light 30-gram shell that's so light you might even forget you're wearing it sometimes. One thing I also really enjoy about this watch is its fast-growing community of users and live Coros coaches who help you with your race planning and fitness goals. Plus, it's also free, unlike other brands. Fitbit. OnePlus has had one heck of a year, guys. The OnePlus 11, for example, was its comeback kit that brought back value, power, and desirability into the bloody same conversation. In fact, this is the phone that I frequently want to ditch my Pixel 7 Pro for. If it weren't for the Pixel camera, the much higher water resistance that, because I like to be able to film near or underwater, and also the Google AI powered exclusives, it would have been the OnePlus 11 all the way. I love that there's an easy day-and-a-half battery life on this thing, one of the fastest, or in fact the fastest charging speeds in the US, tons of horsepower for AAA games and video editing without overheating, fantastic display, and oh yes, a price that puts other flagships to shame. And actually, if you're wanting to hop onto the OnePlus bandwagon here, the OnePlus 12 is actually like literally around the corner for slightly over $100 more. Yeah, you can thank me later, guys. What if I told you that immediately applying intense heat to a bug bite or sting can greatly or even completely reduce the amount of itching and swelling afterwards? So this tiny little device right here does just that. It's called Heated. It's been popular in Europe for quite some years now, and earlier this year they made a big push into the US. How it works is you basically just plug it into the phone's USB-C or Lightning port. iPhone 15 is not supported right now. Load up the easy to use app, punch in your preferred heat level, and boom, you're basically done. And you just have to rinse and repeat as often as you want to. And did I also mention it's only 40 bucks and it clips onto your keychain or lanyard, so you can basically take it anywhere? Well, that's a wrap, guys, both for this episode and also for the year. I hope you have a great rest of the holiday season. Merry Christmas and everything. And I'll see you in the new year. Happy New Year. I love you guys so much. I can't wait for what 2020... Is it 2024? Yes. I forget what year it is. I can't wait for what 2024 has in store for all of us. May God bless you, and thank you so much for being here. If you like what I do, again, please subscribe. Don't be a moocher. Subscribe, thumbs up this video, visit me on Patreon and also my YouTube membership thing to support me there if you can. And also remember to do something loving and kind for somebody in this world, because guess what? The world needs it more than ever, and it starts with you. I love you very much. Peace out and God bless. Whoosh.